What's going on, guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Bleeding Edge, and finally today I get to bring you guys some gameplay. Now admittedly, yes, if you're looking at this, it is obviously not direct feed gameplay. This is over-the-shoulder footage recording. I had a chance to record this at Gamescom because up until this point there hasn't really been any proper cohesive gameplay shown because there's currently a technical alpha running, and that is at the moment behind an NDA, so it's for testing purposes and whatnot, but people aren't able to stream it, record it, and stuff like that. But honestly, if you guys caught the video that I did back at E3, then you'll know that I'm super excited about this game. It is so much fun to play, and I really just want to sort of show more people what it actually plays like, because if you don't really know and the only thing you've seen is the trailer and the short snippets of B-roll footage that I used in my last video, then understandably you might be like, the art style is cool, but I still don't really know what I'm doing. So this is going to be an entire match back to back. Now, there is obviously no sound because all you're going to hear otherwise is just the noisy background of a Gamescom show hall. So I want to try and commentate over this and try and sort of talk to you about what's going on. And also a massive shout out to my friend Bao. He is a character artist at Ninja Theory. He's the one playing. He's a really good player. We played together back at E3, and he actually managed to kind of get a pretty sick clutch towards the end of this. I'm not going to kind of spoil it, but yeah, it's one of those things, whenever you sort of see these matches recorded at shows, it's often hard to try and get a really, really good understanding for like how it all plays out, because they will always have like one team member playing through it to sort of guide people along, and then everyone else is, for all intents and purposes, brand new to the game. So this might not necessarily be the best showcase of teamwork. Ideally I want to sort of sit down with like our squad together and try and get some good communication going, but still, you get to see like, how combat plays out. So for those of you that maybe missed some of the previous videos, or if you kind of just like go into this completely blind, then as a reminder, Bleeding Edge is a 4v4 team fighter. So it's got that kind of arena nature to it. It's a sort of hero-based game, so you kind of select a different character. You don't, go into the same characters, so there are different types of characters to choose from. They fall within 3 core categories. You have heavies, you have assassins, and you have supports. So in this situation, the first character we're looking at right now is an assassin character, actually one of the ranged ones, which is kind of sort of funny to talk about, because a lot of things, or a lot of the time, whenever I'm talking about Bleeding Edge, I always talk about how it is a lot more melee focused, but in this situation, Gizmo is a ranged assassin. It's one of those games that, it does give you plenty of opportunities to kind of choose your playstyles. While it does offer plenty of melee-focused characters, and it's definitely a lot more like up close in your face than maybe your conventional hero like shooters, this does still like offer different playstyles. So you can still, run around, be ranged if like up close melee combat isn't really a thing. Now Gizmo, really, really cool character. Again, every character in this game just has like a distinctive art style, visual style, and I just love it. I love the way this game looks. It's super bright, super colourful. This is just my kind of stuff. And plus Gizmo also has a flipping mech, which is bonus points. Now, in terms of moves, the way that this kind of works out is, again, obviously characters have their default attacks. You have like light attacks, heavy attacks that you can link together and combo. Obviously that'll be different depending on whether you're playing ranged or melee. You then also have some special abilities. You typically have 3. Those are the ones you'll see in the bottom right hand corner. They are mapped to different buttons and they operate around a cooldown system. So, you can use them, but you can't just spam them back to back. And you then have a super ability, which is the thing you see charging up on the right hand side of the screen with that percentage. It takes a lot longer to build up to that. You can, of course, go around the stage and pick up crates that can then give you a boost on this, but this is basically, for all intents and purposes, your super ability. And every character has 2 they can choose from. When you select your character at the start of a match or mid-match, you can then swap to the one that you think, you like the best, or you think is going to benefit the situation. So in the case of Gizmo, her options are either Rocket, which is basically where she can ride a giant missile and it detonates in explosive fireworks, or she also has the one that you saw a moment ago, the mini mech, where you can call it a mech suit, gives you more armor, it's got a flamethrower, and that's one way to not only kind of, hold down, dish out some damage, but also stay alive in the thick of battle, because, you can use that one more so defensively if you need to. Now, we'll speak more about kind of other characters a little bit later, because during this gameplay, we will switch to a support character to try and sort of, help out the team and whatnot, but for those of you that are wondering how the actual matches themselves play out, there are these three zones that kind of present themselves throughout the matches, but it's not your typical conventional, just like King of the Hill, where you run to the point, you take it, and then job done, you kind of accrue your points. The points, or certain points throughout the stage, will actually kind of activate and deactivate at different times. So you might start off at the beginning and you might be able to pick off, point B, that'll be the one you kind of start with, and then as the timer goes on, point A and point C will activate, so that'll of course give people chances to capture those for their teams, and the more points you hold, the more zones you hold whilst getting kills, that's of course how you get your points. So that's naturally how you can bring those, you can kind of get those big comebacks, because if you're in a situation where then, say you're behind, but you can then capture all the zones and then get some kills, then you can really start putting down, those big points. Now, switching up of course here, we now changed to a support character called Kulev. You might notice that every single character has like a really cool hoverboard that you can use to navigate around the matches, which that in itself, I just love it. I mean, hoverboards they're always really cool. You know what? That kind of reminds me of back in the day, like way back. I don't know if any of you guys ever played a game called Cabal Online. That was a MMO, kind of like a free-to-play one. It wasn't exactly the best game, very grindy, but they had hoverboards. That was very cool. But anyway, that aside, hoverboards in this one, I think there is actually an element of this where you can kind of get different custom ones, because there's like I think it's a pre-order bonus, or there's also like if you attend Gamescom, you get a special code you can redeem, which will actually give you a special hoverboard. So that is also something to factor in. There's obviously going to be plenty of customization in this game. But speaking more about the character, this time switching over to a support character, also a ranged one. There's melee support, there's close range, there's long range, but again, we're using range in this situation. Kulev is a really kind of cool sort of zombie stylish looking character with this mechanical snake hanging around him, and his moves break down to his basic abilities. You have this acid spit where you can just fire your continual fire. It's not too fast, it's not like a machine gun, it's more of just like a progressive pistol kind of shot that you can use to pick people off from afar. You can of course evade to dodge out of harm's way. It does cost stamina, but you can still evade as well. And you also have a passive ability called Lucky Charm, which will continuously heal nearby enemies, which is obviously, very important. On your special front, again, every character has 3 specials. So for Kulev, you have Sacred Ground. So if ever you see this big green ward that's summoned on the ground, then this damages enemies and it also heals your allies in the area. So you can kind of use it as like a twofold thing. It means that if ever you're in a situation where you want to, say, clutch a point, you can drop this down. You can use that to forcefully just like attack and push forward and kind of attack your enemies whilst having your teammates rush in and be a little bit more risky, because they can also heal in the process. You also have a special called Good Omen, where you can then shield a specific ally, and you can also cast this on yourself if you need to. Any of those kind of abilities where you can cast them on other people, you can double tap to just drop them on you. And you also have Curse, where you can then make a target take increased damage from all sources. Now, as for the supers, or the special abilities, in this situation, you have one which is called Boon, which allows you to empower an ally with bonus damage, speed, and defense. But the one we've actually selected here is Bamboozle. I've gotta love the name for that. I just love the word Bamboozle. It's just a really cool word. But this one allows you to mind control an enemy, and you can then just, for a limited period of time, bend them to your will. So that is very cool. Now, as you can see, when we're playing through this game, the team is sort of starting to understand that synergy a little bit more. They're starting to kind of stick together a little bit better. So they're working on trying to lock down point B. Of course, again, dropping that field on the ground so that people can like fight within it, heal and deal damage. And of course, then, as they start to get more familiar with the controls, as they start to kind of get more familiar with like the team synergy and whatnot, they do start trying to pick off certain enemies. Because, ideally in this kind of situation, you don't just want to go off and run, and single target fight people, because depending on what your matchup is, that's probably not going to go your way. So learning to try and sort of, stick together as a team, take out individual targets, because the more points you have or the more zones you hold, the more points you can get from that. So as you'll see towards the end of this match, the way you can kind of bring these back and the way you can make your comeback is of course when you really do start focusing down and like team shooting those targets. But anyway, that's kind of it for the time being. I'm just going to kind of put some music in the background just to kind of dull out the background noise from Gamescom, but just kind of give you guys a chance to see like a couple more minutes of just gameplay, just seeing this play out. But this is a really cool match, and hopefully seeing this run from like start to finish gives you a slightly better feel as to like how the game plays out. Now obviously there will be plenty more things that I want to show you. As you kind of saw at the very beginning, there are plenty of characters to choose from. If you check the official website or you've seen my video recently, you'll know there's more characters coming, there are more maps, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. And as soon as I'm able to dive in and actually start recording some gameplay for you guys, as soon as I can actually like record some bespoke stuff and show you direct feed things, there is so much stuff that I want to talk about. I feel like this is kind of a great game to be able to sort of like, bring you guys character guides and, map run throughs and just loads of cool stuff. So as and when that does become available, be sure to stick around, because we'll have plenty of that on the channel. But for the time being, hopefully having a chance to actually see this in action has now given you guys a better, clearer idea as to what the game is, and hopefully you're as excited as I am, because this is it's a lot of fun to play. Trust me, I've had a lot of fun with it, and I can't wait to play some more. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.